shout out Ron Swanson, where he takes a picture of Big Ben and he's like, "Oh look, a clock. We don't have that in America." Ooh, Blitzburg. All right,
Steel City, the Steelers.
the Steelers, the Yinzers. So we got Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback. We got Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback.
Now, who's going to win this competition, Mitch or Mitch?
Yeah. Najee Harris, who was he good last year?
He was pretty dang good last year. Running behind an O-line that was not very good.
See, that's kind of what I thought. But then I was like, I don't know if Najee Harris is good or not. We'll see. Freiermuth, very good.
Yeah, Freiermuth looks like a monster.
Mitchell Trubisky loves throwing to the tight end, and so does Mitchell Trubisky. So he should have a big season. Deontay Johnson is sometimes good.
So this is a really interesting element with the Steelers.
Chase Claypool.
They have a bunch of guys who, or actually not a bunch, but they have multiple guys who are very good deep downfield. And Mitch Trubisky, either one of them, they might not be great throwing downfield, but they're better than Ben has been the last few years.
Yeah, Ben's been awful. Awful.
Like they have horses in the wide receiver room that they can't tell go deep because they couldn't throw it there.
Sonny Daniels at guard is going to help that run game out a lot. Who is Miller?
Anthony Miller.
Anthony Miller's their third wide. I thought that was Anthony Miller, but I was like, "There's no way he's."
Well, they also drafted George Pickens and Calvin Austin.
Okay, yeah. George.
So Pickens, it's just we don't know who's going to be number 3 yet, but Miller is a slot receiver.
I saw A. Miller, and I was like, the only A. Miller I can think of is Anthony Miller, and I was like, "There's no freaking way he's their third wide receiver."
Yeah, he was there at the end of last year.
Was he really?
Mm-hmm.
The Bears cut him, or
he
was
caught like 2 passes? The Bears traded him for a 5th-round pick to Houston before last season.
Oh. I guess I don't remember that.
Yeah, he didn't have the best work ethic in Chicago, so they got rid of him. Very talented player.
Yeah, high upside. They have a monster D-line, T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, Stewart, Highsmith.
The question with their D-line is the same as it's been the last 2 years. If they stay healthy, they're great.
Yeah.
Like, they are great.
Minka Fitzpatrick, one of the best safeties in the league. Miles Jack joining that linebacker room with Devin Bush could be very, very good.
Devin Bush is a big question mark this year, though. He did not do well coming off the ACL last year.
Did he not?
No. Their GM has said as much. The GM's quote was pretty brutal. It was like, in our minds, there's 2 Devins. Devin pre-ACL injury and Devin post-ACL injury. And it's on him to prove to us which one is him.
That's pretty wild.
It's a pretty brutal quote.
They got DeMarvin Leal coming in. Loved him on the defensive line.
Yeah, honestly, they had a really good draft, I think, outside of pick 20.
Yeah, which is even crazier whenever you look at how the quarterbacks went down in that draft.
Yeah.
Because they could have, maybe other teams were high on Pickett too, and maybe Pickett was going first round no matter what. But when you see all these other quarterbacks, the next quarterback going in the 3rd round, it's like you could have traded your 6th round pick and moved up late 2nd, early 3rd probably for hardly anything, and then instead of DeMarvin Lillard like Connor Haywood, you get Kenny Pickett.
Man, I don't got a whole lot more I can say about their quarterbacks. It's just, it's we've beat a dead horse a little. They're very similar players, and they both have limited upside. I think.
I thought going into the season, I thought they were just going to ride it with Trubisky. So I mean, if Trubisky plays, I mean, granted we didn't see much out of him last year, but I mean he looked good in short
preseason.
I mean, he looked good out there.
He learned from the best how to look in shorts.
How to wear shorts, yeah. Him and Josh Allen out there slinging the rock. So yeah.
Hey, I'm rooting for him. I mean, he's already got chemistry with Miller. I mean,
yeah.
Claypool's a big question mark this year. He has some stuff to prove. Claypool's got something to prove this year.
Yeah. I mean, I think Deontay Johnson does as well.
I think Johnson's playing for a contract.
Yeah.
Which is always a huge factor with these to consider here.
Pittsburgh drafts incredibly well at wide receiver, so I would assume George Pickens and Calvin Austin could possibly be their 1 and 2 by the start of next year. And they're both going to be all pros. And you're like, well, how did this happen? How did they do it again? And it's like, well, every year, everybody they draft is like, oh, yeah, we just got another all pro wide receiver. Just picked them right out, like 7th round.
Now, their O-line is going to be a question. It's been a question.
Getting James Daniels helps out a lot, but the rest of that
offensive line. Some. So, as a Bears fan, I can tell you this. James Daniels is a good player. He's not a guy who changes your line.
No, but, I mean, he's better than what they had.
He is. Kevin Dotson's got some stuff to prove this year as well. Like, he's a road grader of a run blocker when he's right. But he did not. After putting together a solid rookie season, he did not have a good second year.
Yeah.
Getting him back to guard should help. I think he was playing some tackle last year at points, or maybe he was playing tackle his rookie year. I don't recall which it was, but he's a big mean run blocker, but I don't know how much he can do in pass pro.
Yeah.
I love Dan Moore though. Dan Moore has some serious upside as a pass protection left tackle.
So let's talk about these odds for a second. Plus 270 to make the playoffs, plus 830 to win the division, plus 8,900 to win the AFC Championship, or 3,900 to win the AFC Championship, plus 6,600 to win Super Bowl. Anything that you like out of that group, or are you just staying away from the Steelers?
I get some real temptation to take Mike Tomlin to win the division or make the playoffs here.
Yeah, so this is a team that I would probably take just to make the playoffs. Probably wouldn't. I don't know if I'd spray.
But just at those numbers, like those are solid. Like Mike Tomlin, tell me there's a chance.
Yeah, and Mike Tomlin, the master of quotes, like you give me red paint, and I'm going to paint the barn red, and everybody's like, "What? We're talking about the offense right now." So
it's like, but I got a barn that needs to be painted.
Yeah, and I'm going to paint it red. Like, what don't you get? All-time quote guy. Love me some Mike Tomlin. So, yeah, I like that make the playoffs at plus 270 quite a bit.
And I'll be honest. We talked a little bit about this last week, but more with this week with this division. I feel like there are a lot of ways you can spread the board here, so you're making money. I mean, all these teams are plus odds to win the division. You can play with that. You know, Absolutely. You can find ways to finagle yourself into a really good position here.
Mm-hmm. So they get the Raiders out of the West, which out of all the teams in the West, that's probably the one you want to play.
Yeah.
And then who'd they get out of the South? Cleveland, New Orleans, Baltimore, Raiders, Tampa Bay, New England, Cincinnati, Jets, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Philly. So they get Philly out of the NFC East, which pretty solid. Indy. So they get Indy out of the South. That's kind of rough.
Oh, I always forget that Indy's in the South. I was looking at this. It's like, I don't see any South teams.
Yeah,
because Indy. I forget that Indy is south near the Gulf of Mexico. So
yeah, so they're they're 4 extra games, or they're 4 different games, or Raiders, Indy, then
you said it, didn't you? Who was it?
Philly.
Yeah, Philly.
Then the last one was Miami, Baltimore, Cleveland.
Raiders, Indy, Philly. Are there 4?
No, there's just 3. It's just 3.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
I got this new schedule throws me off so much.
17 is a weird number.
Yeah, because it used to be just 2 different.
Unless games. You're talking about weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, no, it used to just be 2 different games and everybody's schedule that was different in the division. Now it's 3. So
which honestly gives you more like more variability when thinking through a team schedule. Like 1 in the NFL, 1 game makes a big difference for these schedules, let alone 3.
Mm-hmm. Tell us why we're wrong. Tell us why we're right. Tell us what you think. Let us know. Interact with the boys. And last but not least, don't sleep on the Lions.
Squad.